This person got a rock, and it's chucked at a rabbit, which, yep.
I better keep my distance.
Rabbits are a lot easier to kill than people realize. They are not tough animals. He's got a bear coming after his buddy, which, oh, yeah. And, yep. So does this guy. He takes an arrow and shoves it in his nose, which probably would just really annoy that bear. His bald head would be shining off to every animal would notice that in a heartbeat. He needs to get a hat on that bald head of his. That's what I do with mine. Well, I mean, this guy here is hunting. He's across a creek canyon, and I gotta tell you, that's seriously iffy. To cross this freezing winter creek, he's putting his life at some serious risk over an animal. He does it, man. He is climbing up through the snow. I'd be huffing and puffing. He's got, it looked like an elk there, and now did he shoot a bear over that elk? Maybe it was the bear that was going after his, yep. You got that big bear. If I was him, I'd take my gun off and I'd have that thing pointed right at that bear, because you never know when they are going to, their last little breath of life, take you out. And now he's going to process this bear. This is the part that extremely physical. He is going to remove the hide. This guy would be having his jacket off and be sweating up a storm at this point. Got the hide off. That thing would be weighing probably a couple 100 pounds. Puts it on the back of his horse. Again, I would be pouring sweat and probably be down to no shirt on. It starts off accurate. It starts getting a little over the top as far as like with the ease that he's doing this. The fact that he's, yeah, I mean, that is realistic as far as the amount of weight that hide would be, but he would be just drenched in sweat and exhausted. As far as rating, I mean, I'm looking at probably a B. Not horrible. There's some good stuff in this, but some of the stuff is not super accurate. The fact is that he just left an animal laying there without taking the meat, which is pretty horrible. Certain type of call, I call them can calls, but they use these type of bleat calls that come in a little can that make a little sound of a female. Now this guy's got a lot of brush he's looking through. He's got his old faithful bloodhound with him there. Let's see what happens. He's got a lot of brush in front of him, which trying to make a shot through that brush is, let's see what he's got coming in here. Can't tell. Yeah, is that a mule deer? That's a good forward front shot there. He doesn't have shooting sticks, which I would have something to steady my shot, but he makes the shot and reloads his weapon. His dog is sitting there and probably having some serious hearing loss as he was sitting in front of the rifle when that thing went off. But his dog seems happy enough. Gonna run out and try to go get that deer. That's a great thing about having a dog with you during these types of hunts, is that they can help you tracking. Front shot like that, if you connect right, there's not a lot of tracking there. Those things generally will fall right where they're standing. Let's see, he's got his hands out. Go see what he's got here. He's got, it's a female. So maybe the call he was using was actually a fawn distress, but he got himself a female mule deer and it disappeared in front of our eyes. So that was quite the processing job. Thankfully, his trusty dog did a good job tracking. Overall, I'd give this a or a S rating for realistic, because it really makes me feel like I'm actually hunting. I like this one. And this guy is shooting through some trees. He's got some deer coming in. Look like mule deer. He just took a clear shot on a shoulder shot, a doe, and they're busting through the brush. So I mean, this is very realistic as far as the amount of foliage and brush you'd have to walk through. He's not running, which is very accurate, because I've seen some of these video games where guys have their guns out and they're running through the woods, which adds to the excitement, but also it's got blood trail. And this is also very accurate with that shot placement. The color of that blood would be a lighter pinkish color, because when you take a shot near the lungs, the blood has a lot of oxygen in it, and it usually is light red or pink. I'm not sure why he wants to keep shooting until he's found his first animal he shot at, and these are sketchy shots. He should wait until he has one clear come out of the brush there. At that distance, you'd want to definitely take you'd want to have some shooting sticks. He drops the dough, passes on the bucks. This guy's clearly gonna go be filling his freezer for some meat for the winter, and that is completely fine. Oh, sorry, my bad. He has a buck, a smaller buck, but he's got a front shot there and dropped that buck. Usually when you hit him in the chest like that, it's a lot of force that hits that deer. Just drops him right where that fold up like a cheap tent. From the scenery to the weapon choices to the equipment choices, shot placement, blood trailing details, very much an S. I find them to be very accurate. He's got a bear coming after his buddy, which, oh yeah. And, yep, so does this guy. He takes an arrow and shoves it in his nose, which probably would just really annoy that bear, and you wouldn't be alive for very long. But guy seems like he's just shooting it up. Now, somehow miraculously, he's able to stand on his own 2 feet, find the bear, and shoot it. The bear is sliding down the mountain. This guy would be covered in blood after a bear attack. Maybe he just is a quick healer. Got another bear. Now he's just mad at bears. He's like, I'm just gonna start shooting bears. This guy's just popping bears. Now he's throwing something at a bear. This is all great for entertainment level and probably the video game style drama, but not realistic. Definitely not survive a bear attack like in the beginning of the sequence. This guy would have his, probably his scalp would be flapping all over the place and blood running down his eyes, and it seems like he's chucking things at bears. And great for video games, not very realistic. I would probably give this thing a C to possibly D. Next person, we got a rock, and it's chucked at a rabbit, which, yep.
I better keep my distance.
Rabbits are a lot easier to kill than people realize. They are not tough animals, and their fur is really warm. Now this guy's walking across a frozen lake and sneaking up. He's got a gun that looks like it's World War I era, but it looks like a Mosin gun. Iron sights, taking a very long shot on a big deer. These deer book off. They look either like reindeer. I don't think they're elk because this is their area for elk. But getting this rock out. I don't know what he's doing with that rock, but yeah, there's gonna be the blood. He's got himself a little cabin. Go over there and drag that deer over to and pick up some meat. Now he's got a 6-shooter. Very hard to be accurate with a 6-shooter. Couldn't see what the guy shot at, but he is reloading. I don't know why he has to reload the entire cylinder for one shot, but he had 5 other shots. Man, it's a rabbit he's going after. Let's see what he's sneaking up on. With that 6-shooter, you're gonna have to be so close. He's shooting a deer there, it looks like, and not realistic that you could get that close to a deer in the open, wide open like that, and then drop it like that with a 6-shooter. B to C on my ranking of the long dark. Got a cute little rabbit sticking his head out, a little snow hair, looking around. Yep, got the old arrow right through the esophagus. Person pulls out their arrow. That rabbit would be flopping around and going into his death throes, but this young lady is a good shot with her bow.
You'll just startle it.
She's got herself a horse. This girl sneaks up. She's got her bow canted severely. Don't quite know if she made the shot or not, but she is following this trail of this deer she shot after, and she's trying to get another shot on this thing. Clearly not seeing any blood. I like the realism as far as the environment. She just shot through brush, which is not a good idea. She's crouched down, keeping low, which is a very realistic thing you want to do when you're bow hunting, because you want to stay as low as possible. She is following this blood trail, and I gotta tell you, that's the realistic side, that you can follow a blood trail like that for what seems like miles. These deer just keep going. She follows this thing into a old abandoned building. The deer happens to go in the building and out the building. Well, it stepped out and died outside the building. A B and a C too. It was pretty fun watching her shoot that bow, and the only thing I think was kind of a drawback was she shot through the brush.
We have faith in you.
This lady here in the middle of a storm. She has built herself a fire. Stay warm. Clearly some type of survival type of bow. Makeshift bow, as they call them. Again, these are sequences that are great for video games, but not realistic. Most animals wouldn't just stand around and just let you just keep shooting them. Entertaining, I'd probably go C. So these two guys that look like some serious dirtbags, redneck, Billy Bobs, do not look like the one guy doesn't look like he's the hunting type, but that guy got his hat from the hunting store, and he's got himself an AR-15 suppressed. I would not tolerate, or any of my hunting buddies would tolerate. And you always want to be careful where you have your gun. He's walking around some very questionable rooftop, scanning his scope around to see what's around, what kind of animals, and seeing some random animals through some brush that look like coyotes. Takes a pop on one. The one problem is he's shooting right at a road there, so who knows what's driving down the street. This guy got 2 coyotes, and he goes back and tells the other guy, hey man, I got your coyotes. So this guy's not even in camo, nothing. He's just walking around, no care in the world, just thinks he's gonna have animals popping up all over the place. His bald head would be shining off to every animal, would notice that in a heartbeat, and he's get a hat on that bald head of his. That's what I do with mine. That would affect your aim. Breathing hard. Now he's going to take a shot on something that looks up. Well, I mean, I think I put that at a C and a D, and I think that, as far as like a video game, and I mean, you can kind of split these up into 2 categories: realistic and entertaining. And so I think games like Red Dead Redemption 2 are very entertaining, visually very cool and awesome. But realistically, I recently came out with a book of my hunting and fishing cartoons, Scattered Thoughts Cartoons. Check it out on Amazon.com. There will be a link in the bottom. And I hope you guys enjoy these videos. Hope to see you in the woods sometime.